must be a higher love down in the heart or hidden in the stars above. Without it, life is a wasted time. Look inside your heart and I look inside mine. Things look so bad everywhere in this whole world. What is fair? We walk the line and try to see, falling behind what could be. Oh, oh, bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Oh, bring me a higher love. Where's that higher love? I keep thinking of. Bring me higher love. Bring me higher love. Oh, bring me higher love. Worlds are turning, and we're just hanging on, facing our fear and standing out there alone. I yearn, yeah, and it's real to me. There must be someone who's feeling for me. Things look so bad everywhere in this whole world. What is fair? We walk the line and try to see, falling behind and what could be. Oh, bring me a higher love, my Lord. Bring me a higher love. Oh, oh, bring me a higher love, my Lord. It's that higher love I keep thinking of. Bring me higher love. Bring me higher love. Bring me higher Think about it. There must be a higher love down in the heart or hidden in the stars above. Without it, life is a wasted time. Look inside your heart and I look inside mine. Things look so bad everywhere in this whole world. What is fair? We walk the line and try to see, falling behind what could be. Oh, oh, bring me a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Oh, bring me a higher love. Where's that higher love? I keep thinking of. Bring me higher love.
Freedom, personal freedom, is fundamental to who we are as Americans. There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred. That's been the work of my first term, to fight for our democracy. This shouldn't be a red or blue issue. To protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot at making it. But you know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms, cutting Social Security that you paid for your entire life while cutting taxes for the very wealthy, dictating what health care decisions women can make, banning books, and telling people who they can love, all while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote. When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election. Because I know America. I know we're good and decent people. I know we're still a country that believes in honesty and respect and treating each other with dignity. That we're a nation where we give hate no safe harbor. We believe that everyone is equal, that everyone should be given a fair shot to succeed in this country. Thank you for choosing us. Every generation of Americans has faced a moment when they have to defend democracy. Stand up for our personal freedom. Stand up for the right to vote and our civil rights. And this is our moment. We, the people, will not decide. God love you. So if you're with me, go to joebiden.com and sign up. Let's finish this job. I know we can. Because this is the United States of America. There's nothing, simply nothing we cannot do if we do it together.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jose Nunez, and I'm the National Organizing Director for the DNC. I'm calling you live from National Democratic Party headquarters. I am so excited to have you all joining us today. We have an awesome event prepared for you all. Today, we're going to lay the foundation for you on our organizing strategy in the coming weeks and months on how we organize our communities for President Joe Biden and Democrats up and down the ballot. President Biden announced his re-election campaign on Tuesday with a simple message. Together, we can finish the job for the American people. Our organizing program is going to be powered by people like you, talking to your friends, families, and communities. It's going to be a common theme that you'll hear today and in the future, speaking directly to people in your life about what's at stake. Whether that be MAGA extremists lining up to take us backward, trying to gut Social Security and Medicare, telling women what healthcare choices they're allowed to make. And to top it all off, they're going after your right to vote too. The stakes couldn't be higher. But folks, we have fighters in our corner, people who fight every single day and have since the first day they took office. 12 million new jobs since taking office. Unemployment rates near historic lows. Signed the Inflation Reduction Act. Capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month. Largest investment to combat climate change in US history, and so much more. And with that, I'm excited to introduce two of those fighters, Vice President Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff.
Thank you, Jose. Good to see everybody. Hello. Happy Biden-Harris campaign launch week. And thank you for the very warm welcome and those words about fighting and for all your work, Jose and the team at the DNC. I could not be prouder to be part of this team and to be here with the president, my wife, the vice president, the first lady. It's been such an honor for me these last 2+ years to be the first second gentleman of the United States. And as I've traveled all around the country, I've listened to your stories and I have seen your work. And everywhere I go, you tell me what matters to you. And you believe in building an economy that works for everyone. You believe in fairness, equality, fundamental rights, and making this country a better place for the American people. And I will tell you, nobody works harder for the American people than President Biden and Vice President Harris. They are true public servants who do this job not because of ego or power, but because they're patriots. They love our country. And in everything they do, they're thinking about each and every one of you. And I'm so lucky I have this front row seat to watching them do it together, Biden and Harris, each and every day. And I only have one more thing to do, which is
For the moment.
well, look, I'm only here because I'm married to her. Kamala Harris, the first female vice president of the United States. She's been protecting democracy and fighting for the people her entire career, from her time as a district attorney in San Francisco to Attorney General of California, United States Senator, and as our vice president. She's been traveling around the country and the world, fighting for the issues that matter to you. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Democrats. And thank you, Jose, for bringing us together. And thank you for that introduction, Mr. Second Gentleman of the United States. And I also want to thank Dr. Biden for her leadership. She's been extraordinary and got a good team. We've got a really great team. And I'm so proud to run for re-election with our president, Joe Biden, as Vice President of the United States of America, so we can finish the job. To everyone on this call, thank you for the work you do in every election to make sure the people's voice is heard. In 2020, during the height of a pandemic, all of you sent over 300 million text messages and made over 300 million calls. Because of your hard work, you sent me and Joe Biden to the White House. In 2022, you helped defend reproductive rights on state ballots from California to Kentucky. Win races up and down the ballot from coast to coast for state legislature, Secretary of State. Those were some really important races, as we all know, as were those races for Attorney General and Governor. And you did the work to help expand our majority in the United States Senate. And with your help, now after 2 years of good work, President Biden and I have a lot of really good material to show for it. We also must clearly see the moment in time in which we live. A moment in time where in states across our nation, so many of our hard-won freedoms are under attack by extremist Republican so-called leaders. Attacks on the people in states like Florida and Texas are just the first step. These extremists have a plan to take their agenda national, to attack the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body, not the government, to attack the right to vote, to ban books and stand in the way of teaching America's full history, and to stop people from loving who they love, and to do all of that in all 50 states. They even went so far as to turn off the microphones and expel 2 elected leaders in Nashville. Because you know why? Here's what I think. Because they did not want to hear the voices of the people through those legislators. They didn't want to hear the cries and the demands of the people who simply want an end to gun violence. These so-called leaders, well, we're seeing so many examples of where they just want to silence the voices of the people. And be clear about what is at stake. The people's voice is the very heart and core of our democracy. And as far as we're all concerned, I know this to be true. The people will not be silenced. Together, we will fight, and we will fight because we love our country. Together, we will fight for our democracy and our ideals. And I believe when you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. On every one of these issues, we know what we stand for. We know what we fight for. And when we fight, we win. Thank you all. I'll see you soon. Jose, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Vice President Harris and Doug Emhoff. You know, there's so much to be proud of leading into 2023 and 2024. Democrats have been consistently organizing since day one after we wrapped up the 2020 election. That meant talking to voters in states like Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, Wisconsin, all across the country, supporting elections from mayoral seats all the way up to Senate seats. No race was too big or small. And our successes are only possible because of the work every single one of us puts in. It's talking to our neighbors about what's at stake. It's talking to that friend who you chat politics with. It's your family. All of those conversations matter, and it's never too early to start. President Biden launched his campaign's organizing efforts around a simple principle, that you are the best advocate with the closest people in your life. Every single member of this team is going to play a role in ensuring the people closest to us knows what's at stake for our families, for our communities, and for our country in this election. We have also seen President Biden's decency, his empathy, and his belief that everybody counts. That's who he is. And Dr. Jill Biden, she has been a champion for students and veterans her entire career, and since the moment she entered the White House. The only way we make our democracy stronger is if we fight for it together. I know that President Biden and Dr. Jill Biden is in that fight with us, along with Democrats across the country, up and down the ballot. And we have a simple question to ask ourselves: who's going to fight for us? Our country, our families, our friends. I'm happy to introduce the people who will fight for us: President Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden.
Thank you, Jose. Good evening. Every few years, we tell Americans that this is the most important election of their lives. And every year, we're right. Because the fight for freedom has no end. The fight for democracy, for America, has no end. There will always be those who want to pull us backwards, who can only see glory in some imagined past. So when they pull, we push. We push for progress. We push for the people we love. We push for the future we want, the future our children deserve. And when we all push together, shoulder to shoulder and heart to heart, we win. That's what we did when we elected Joe and Kamala. I will never forget the moment we got word that they had won. We were sitting on a dock of a lake near our home in Wilmington. And then all of a sudden, we heard shouts of joy coming from our house. And we knew we had won. Don't you remember it? The people who were banging pots and pans and dancing in the streets. It was like we were all holding our breath, and suddenly we could breathe again. You made that possible. With a dozen phone calls, with a $5 donation, with a conversation you were a little nervous to have. Just tiny moments again and again, until together we created something bigger than any one of us. So thank you for that work. Thank you for standing with us then and now. With your help, Joe has changed our country for good. America has seen the true character of the person I've known for so long, whose heart is big enough to cross our divides and bring together Americans from all walks of life, whose vision and determination are strong enough to cut through the partisanship of our politics and pass historic legislation, whose commitment is steadfast enough not only to keep his promises, but surpass them. And he's not done. He's ready to keep pushing us forward. We will win again, but not without you. We're all in this, and I'm asking you to be all in as well. Help us with those small moments, dollars donated, calls made, and doors knocked. We have to start now, and we can't let up until we win. Because the fight for freedom doesn't end, and this is the most important election of our lives. I know we can win because we have you by our side. Joe?
Well, look, everyone, hello. Jill and I and Kamala and Doug, wanted to get together for two reasons, all of us. One, the first is a thank you. So many of you are with us throughout the incredible ride in 2020, through to this very day. We wouldn't be here without you, and that's not hyperbole. We're counting on you to help us win this next time around. We can't do it without you. Just look at all we've accomplished so far, and think about everything else we can do together. Let's finish the job, and we're within reach. And that's the second reason I wanted to talk to you. We need you. As Jill said, our democracy needs you. And that's, again, that's literal, because this is about our freedoms. MAGA Republicans are trying to take us backwards. But together, we're not going to let them do that. Instead, our agenda is going to bring us forward and build on the progress we made to finish the job. Look, we keep growing the economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not from the top down. We said we'd do that. Let's protect a woman's right to choose. Let's get Roe v. Wade. It's just there's so much we have to do. Look, let's protect our children from gun violence, keep lowering the prescription drug cost. Let's protect Social Security and Medicare. We've gotten so much done, but there's so much more to do. Folks, we're still in the battle for the soul of America, and now we're at an inflection point. One of those moments, not only they come around every few generations, they come around and we're in one of them right now. And when we look back years from now, we'll know whether we met this moment. You know, so you gotta let me tell you something, because that's so important. Because all of you, we will meet this moment because of you, just like we did in 2020. Remember 2020, as Jill said, when everyone had us written off, but you knew we could do it, and we did because of you. Remember 2022, those midterm elections. That red wave was supposed to wipe us out, and the gigantic victory for Republicans. It never happened. We met the moment again and again with a broad coalition with all of you. We're going to do it again in 2024. We're going to do it together. So as we enter this re-election campaign, Jill and I, Kamala and Doug, want you to remember the power of America lies with you, the American people. You know all this, and now we need you to spread the word to our friends. Go to joebiden.com or text SHARE to 30330. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future. And I've never been more optimistic. We just have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America. And there's simply nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. So let's go win this thing. Let's finish the job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's get it done.
Thank you so much, President Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden. I'm personally fired up, and yes, let's finish the job. The last speaker we have, and I'm so excited to introduce her, is our DNC organizer, Ashley Chacon. Ashley, kicking it over to you.
Thank you, Jose. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited that you were able to join us this evening. My name is Ashley Chacon, and I'm the DNC's national organizer. I organize with volunteers across the country who are bilingual Spanish speakers, supporting voter contact within the Latinx and Spanish-speaking communities throughout the nation to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. I was born and raised in South Texas, and I completed my bachelor's and master's in Texas. And I'm even calling in from, you guessed it, Texas. So my passion for community, my family, and my friends led me to where I am today. Like many of you on this call, you probably share my passion with your own community, wherever that may be. What inspired my involvement and work with the Democratic Party was that in 2016, I realized how important it was to protect our democracy. While in college, I felt the need to participate more in my community, and I volunteered. I became active by engaging with voters during the midterm election. I block walked, providing outreach and educating voters, the importance of being involved and having their voices heard. There was two principles that really motivated me to become more involved: protecting women's rights and the importance of voter education. Since then, I've been involved in many political campaigns, from Texas to New York and everywhere in between. In that work, the outcomes I hope for is developing one leader for a community at a time. A leader who understands how powerful their voices can be to organize their friends, their family, and their neighbors. This is why I organize. This is why I support electing Democratic candidates like President Joe Biden and other Democrats across the country who will not stand by while MAGA extremists push to take away our freedoms and our democracy. You all have your own reasons why you're on this call today. And you might be wondering, what can I do? Organizing at its core is community building. And today in this call, we have started the process of building community together around a shared goal to support and electing President Biden and Democrats across the country. President Biden launched his campaign organizing efforts around a simple principle that you are the best advocate with the closest people in their life. Every single member of this team will play a role in ensuring the people closest to us know what's at stake for our families, for our communities, and for our country in this election. We take the first steps by having conversations directly with our families and friends, sharing the key campaign messaging and content within our communities online. There's so much at stake, and we really need to get involved. So much of our community connection and communication is happening online, and that's where we get the point to really have the opportunity to organize. Our goal is to break through the noisy media and online discourse. That's where you come in. Before you leave this call today, I need everyone to text SHARE to 30330 and share your endorsement for President Biden on social media. We'd also like you to join us for a training series to dig in more on how you will organize online and offline, specifically in your own communities. To commit to joining a training, text SHARE to 30330 and let us know that you're in. And while you're at it, please share your endorsement on social media. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you at future events.
Alrighty, folks, thank you so much for joining us this evening. As Ashley said, please, if you have a second, text SHARE to 30330. As you heard from everybody today, it's going to take every single one of us talking to the people closest to us to make sure that we can bring a win in 2024, electing Democrats up and down the ballot. So again, I hope you take a moment tonight, text SHARE to 30330, and we hope to see you very soon. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. Thank you.
And what could be? Oh, bring me a higher love, my Lord. Bring